Welcome to our 5 on 5. Pleased to welcome in Sergeant Julie Denney with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So busy time for you guys right now between Christmas and New Year's. Obviously, there's a lot of people on the road. There's a lot of holiday parties, a lot of DUI saturations. Is that something that's focused for you guys?
It's a big focus. DUI patrols are a big thing around the holidays, and more people are out and about, going to parties, like you said. And we're lucky to have grant funding that allows us to put more deputies on the road to focus specifically on impaired driving, so that the rest of our deputies can continue to respond to calls for service.
And I believe road safety was a priority for Sheriff Sickler as he stepped in to the role. Can you tell us some of the other things you guys have going on our roads?
Sure. We're also doing a lot of focused patrols in areas that have been problems for us, areas that have fatal crashes, crashes that cause injuries, areas that are a problem for neighbors. And what we're doing is putting together teams and focusing on those areas. We had a shift recently that focused on Foothill Road, and they ended up writing quite a few citations, arresting a few people in the...
Is that how it happens?
Yes,
yeah,
it just worked out that way.
Yeah.
But in the coming year, we'll be picking different areas depending on the problems and focusing on a monthly basis.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are definitely, that's something you guys are starting to do and expand out into other areas.
Yes.
Is Foothill, you know, it's a road many people know, and it traverses several different areas. Is that difficult because that's, I'm guessing here, MPD, Sheriff's Office, maybe even Eagle Point Police, I don't know how that works, but is that difficult for you guys to share all that space?
Sharing isn't too difficult, but the patrolling itself is hard because it's a narrow road, not a lot of shoulders. So even if we see a violation, sometimes we have to follow somebody for a mile before we even have a safe place to pull them over. So just the logistics of it can be difficult sometimes.
Okay, and I did forget to ask you a follow-up question to the DUI stuff. Is there something we should look for? Obviously, if we see someone swerving all over the road, we'll call 911. But I remember I called once, you know, on my way in one time here in Medford at 2 a.m. when I was working the morning show, and I was asked, you know, are they having a medical emergency? I mean, obviously, I don't know that. I mean, is it just better to call just to be safe than to not do anything? It's
always better to call because that way at least we have the option to respond if we can. We can't be everywhere, but, you know, you never know where a deputy is patrolling. Sure. They could be right around the corner and able to address it right away.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5 again. We're here with Sergeant Julie Denney from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. So I want to ask you, Julie, about 2018 and beginning the new year. The jail is something that you guys have been focusing on for some time. A lot of kind of information trying to be culled as we move towards a new jail, which sounds like everybody seems to be in agreement that we need one. Where are we at in that lengthy process from your perspective?
Well, Sheriff Sickler and Captain Penland are working on gathering as much information as we can so that we can find out what we need to do in order to move forward, whether that means presenting something to voters or working with the county to obtain the funding. And
I believe we were talking during commercial break about how you guys are hiring, and some of that is the correction side.
Yes, we're actually hiring both entry-level and experienced people to become corrections deputies.
Okay. What about marijuana? And how much of the Sheriff's Office, how much of the work marijuana related is in crime, or is it code, or kind of what's your view on that from the department's perspective?
Well, since marijuana legalization, we have seen an increase in different types of crimes and stuff we really didn't even anticipate before the new law. We've had an increase in alarm calls. We've had an influx of people coming into our county to work here. And we've actually seen a lot of violent crimes associated with marijuana grows, some armed robberies. Okay, yeah,
where there's money, there might be crime.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, now what about, you know, we were talking about DUIs, it's kind of where we began this time of year. What about marijuana-related DUIs? Do you have any idea about percentages of versus alcohol versus, say, opioids or some sort of other pills, if you will?
Sure. The majority of our DUI arrests are alcohol related, but we do see a lot of combination, alcohol plus marijuana or prescription medication, and a lot more people are using marijuana, maybe who didn't use it before it was legal, and they're not quite used to the effects, so they're out driving without realizing the level of impairment that it's actually providing.
All right. Well, good to see you. Thank you so much for being
here. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.